Hi Jason, this is Mike from Stagecoach Rotary Sewing Machine, and this is your pretty Florence Rotary. And I'm going to run her through her paces and do a final test before we pack her up to ship her. And in this test we're going to go over the basic operation of the machine, how to thread her up, how to wind the bobbin, how to just, how to use the various controls. And let's see. Yeah, I can't really put it in a treadle stand, so it's just going to have to be manually operated here to show you that she's working good. One thing you should know about this machine, very important, the hand wheel turns in the opposite direction of most of the machines that you may have used before. The Singers and all the Japanese clones and all the modern sewing machines all turn this way towards you. This one turns the other way. Okay, so without further ado, let's wind a bobbin. This is your slide plate. On this model, it just fits under the little lip of the painted area, slides on and off. And under here is your bobbin case with the bobbin in it. To remove the bobbin, there's a little, right here, there's a little release. It's at the very bottom. You lift it up and you can pull out your bobbin. You can do it one-handed once you get used to it. Your bobbin is in the bobbin case, and I'll show you how to thread that bobbin case after I show you how to wind a bobbin. The way this bobbin winder works is this is the shaft that the bobbin slides onto to wind. And when you're ready to wind the bobbin, you just lift it up until it comes into contact with the treadle belt. So the treadle belt would be spinning the bobbin. And let's see, if it's turning this way, I'm going to be turning the bobbin this way. So you want your thread to go on over the top this way. Not that it really matters. You just put your thread you put your spool on the spool pin, probably this one, and you put the thread through that little tiny hole in the side and hold it with your finger while it's on here. And as the bobbin turns, the thread will build up on the center shaft, and you'll be able to let go of that little piece of thread and it'll hold itself in place. But since we don't have it hooked up in a treadle stand, I'm not going to actually wind a bobbin. But that's how you do it. If you want to release the hand wheel so the hand wheel can spin with the treadle belt without making the rest of the machine cycle, you just flip this little lever up here. There's a, it's kind of primitive, it's just a little slot that when it's in the right position, it'll slip into that slot and lock this outer wheel, which turns the machine, to the inner wheel, which the treadle belt's turning. So with it unlocked, the treadle belt can spin, and then find a little slot. There it is. Then with the lever down, it makes the whole machine cycle. Oops, see, I'm doing it the Singer way. That's about it. With the thread coming off the top of the bobbin in this direction, drop it into the bobbin case, and there's a little slot on the side. You slide it down into that slot, and then this little tang here is is 2 layers, and one of the layers has a little slot in it on the side you're going to go into, and the bottom layer is actually a leaf spring which provides your bobbin tension. So you want to go between the bobbin tension spring and the little thing that sticks out here. So to reiterate, with the thread coming off the top of the bobbin in that direction, you drop it in, guide the thread into that little slot on the side, then cross all the way over that tang, and you can get under the top layer and between the 2 springs, and then you'll feel the tension on your bobbin thread. Now with this little tang pointed straight up, make sure your needle is up out of the needle hole, and you just slide your bobbin right onto the little shaft in the middle of the bobbin race. It'll click into place and won't fall out until you lift the lever. All right, put the slide plate back on, and we'll thread the upper end. Choose a color that's easy to see against the black background. It doesn't matter which spool pin you use. Put your thread on the spool pin, and on the top of the machine there's a little tension disc for your upper thread. So the first thing you're going to do is go around that little pin there. There's a little pin behind it. Go around the pin. And from there you go between the discs of that little tension assembly and into this hole right here on the end. It's actually a thread guide. So from the spool you go behind this pin and then around the front between the 2. Yeah, just below this top disc. On the face, you ignore the take-up lever for now. Go straight down here. Go into this little slot here and pull all the way up. And when you might have to put a little tension on your thread, but when you get to the top of this slot, this little check spring here will start moving up and down when you pull the thread. You know you got it. From there, going to go behind this little front plate. It's another slot there to go into. So just hold your thread like that and go up and then down. It's and you may already know all of this, and I'm trying to make it as simple as I can because I don't know what your experience level is. So go under the outer layer and down. Oops, this way. Go into the outer leaf, whatever you call it, then down. Now you're in your take-up lever. Let's do that one more time. So from the spool, behind the pin, under the plate, through the thread guide, down to this little tooth that sticks out, and all the way up that slot until you catch the little check spring. Then you go over to your take-up lever, go in, down. Then there's one more thread guide at the bottom, and for that, you just, from this side, you slide it in from the side. And then through the eye of the needle, let's see, from the front to the back. And it's a good idea to put a fresh end on your thread because it kind of frays and spreads out at the end. It makes it a little harder to stick it through the needle hole. sometimes it's kind of hard to see the needle hole. If you put something white behind the needle hole, all of a sudden it pops out and it's real easy to see. Go through the needle from the left to the right. To bring up your lower thread, hold your upper thread loosely and turn the hand wheel away from you one full revolution, and the needle's going to take the thread down where the hook will pick it up, wrap it around the bobbin, and bring up your lower thread. So here goes. One revolution all the way down. There we go. Now there's your lower thread. Geese are flying north. That's a good sign. Lower the pressure foot using the lever on the back, and you're ready to sew. Okay, we're on 3 on the stitch length, which is probably pretty standard for regular thread and fabric. We're also on 3 for the thread tension over here. So here we go. Turn away from us. Nice even stitch on both sides of the fabric. This is the pressure on your presser foot here. If you need a little more pressure, you turn it clockwise to add more pressure, and counterclockwise, of course, for a little less pressure, depending on what you're sewing. Right now I'm sewing a single layer of Carhartt fabric, which is roughly equivalent to a couple layers of regular denim. Yeah, let's do a long stitch, and then I think that's about really all there is to talk about on this machine, other than to say that she's all right. What is going on here? I pulled my fabric out. I tangled something up. There we go. Okay, longer stitch. Okay, somehow got the thread wrapped around the needle. And I was pulling it out. So if you ever have trouble and your stitch doesn't look right, there's a reason for it. Just go back and look carefully at what you've done and make sure your thread hasn't accidentally gotten wrapped around something, or the thread hasn't broken, or any number of things. Okay, here we go, a little longer stitch. It's good on both sides. Do one more just for fun, and we'll go a little bit longer. Oh, I see we've run out of bobbin thread. Guess I'm going to wind the bobbin after all. Again, helps to cut a fresh end if you're going to poke it through hole. Let's see now. So yeah, your upper thread tension should be somewhere between 2 and 3 for regular fabric, somewhere around 3 for regular fabric and thread. If you're sewing something heavier, you might want more pressure on the sewing foot. You might need a little more pressure on the needle, on the upper thread. And you'll probably want a little bit longer stitch length for heavier fabric. Anyway, this is her. Oil her after every 8 hours or so of sewing. There are oil holes here. You can use oil holes at the top. And I'll see if I have a user manual to send along with it, which will have an oiling diagram in it. I don't know for sure that I have one, but if I do, I'll email it to you. This is your release for when you tilt the machine back out of the bed. Push it that way and it releases the catch at the bottom. There are plenty of things on the bottom that you can oil. Anywhere where there will be friction. Some have obvious oil holes that make it easier to know where to oil. But some don't have oil holes, like this cam that rotates in this race here. Needs a drop of oil, maybe 2 drops. The place where this frame that moves the feed dogs pivots. There are 2 spots, one at either end. Here at the end of the shaft, both ends of the shaft. Same thing with this little shaft here. An oil hole here and no oil hole over here, but it's an obvious friction point. Your hook gets a drop of oil. Let's see. What did it want to be? Take the hook out. Get the needle up out of the needle hole. Then this is the catch for the bobbin, to release the bobbin. This one here releases the whole bobbin race, so you can get in there and clean and oil it. Release that side and this side just lifts off. And right in this race here, after you brush it, all the dirt out, you want a drop or 2 of oil. In the groove where the hook rides. Then just slip it back on its peg and pop back into place. Make sure that again that your needle is up out of the needle hole. All right. Yeah, it's probably easier if you take the bobbin out. But you can see this is the edge that rides against the inside of the rides against the inside of this retainer. That's why you need a drop of oil in there. Okay, here we go. The right way to do it. Let's get the thread out of the way. Oh, somehow my needle got back in the needle hole. Okay, there are placement pins here so you know how to set your so you know how to set your hook in. Then this slips over the pin on this side, and this side just snaps down into place. And then your bobbin just goes on to that little pin in the center of the hook assembly. It wouldn't hurt to put a drop of oil on. That and on. No, not on that. This is the bottom of your feed dog, and this is that little rocker frame that we just oiled a minute ago. So this goes up to your feed dogs. I already oiled in here. Oh, here's something you can do. Another place to oil. Like I said, if I have a user manual with an oiling diagram in it, I'll send it along. But this is an inspection plate here. It's got 2 screws in it, and if you take those 2 screws out, remove the inspection plate, you can see some more oiling points in here. You can see that there's an oil hole right there. And I am low on sewing machine oil in there. Let's see. And a little bit of oil to my oiler. So much easier to oil when it has oil in it. Okay, so you want a drop of oil in the oil hole. I usually, just for fun, put a drop on either side of that. There's a, it's easier to tell what needs to be moved if you cycle the machine. Can you see them there? Hope you can. Let's see, those are the parts that move when you sew. And everywhere where one piece moves against the other piece, there's going to be friction, so it needs oil there. I'll start by oiling this camshaft here. There's a fork down here. With a block that rides back and forth in the fork. And there's another cam right here. Get a drop of oil. Okay, yeah, that should do it. And then along the top here, there are oil holes. One there at that bearing where the shaft goes through. These holes here oil the cams that we just oiled from the inside. These ones, this oils the front bearing. This one here oils the, I think it oils the take up. There's an oil hole at the top of your pressure foot adjustment, one at the top of your needle bar. And there's another oil hole back here. There. And just run it a little bit to spread the oil around. In here there is an oiling point. Don't need to take this one off. You just loosen the screw a little bit. And you can see in here there's a bearing that rides in a groove to make your take-up lever go up and down. So this point where the take-up lever rotates, it needs a drop of oil, and then it needs a drop of oil in here. Which this oil hole also reaches, but I generally oil it in both places. Also, you should have your pressure foot up when you oil, so you're not wearing it with the teeth of the feed dogs grinding against it. Or you could put a piece of fabric under it and have the pressure foot down. It doesn't matter much which way you do it. Your bobbin winder needs a drop of oil. That's about it. Did I miss anything? Let's see. Doesn't appear so. Actually, there's a little bit of a movement at this point here. Oh, and I'm not sure that you can see it, but when you raise and lower the stitch length adjustment, this rod here slides in and out. And so a drop of oil on that rod would be a good thing. Okay, I believe that is it. So this is your pretty Florence machine. I'll get her packed up and we'll get her off to you. And thank you again. Much, much, much appreciated.